Good evening, everybody. And you know it's Wednesday because you are seeing the smiling face. It is RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, Wednesday night live podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we have a great show for you this evening. We are going to be talking to members from the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition. That's from right here in Rhode Island and everything that they do for our state. So welcome, Deanne and Jack. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank
you, Tila.
So let's get right into it. Jack, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and about how you got involved in the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition?
Well, 13 years ago, I had an operation that didn't go quite well, and I ended up with a spinal cord injury. As a result of it, I wanted to find out more about disabilities in the world, so to speak. And a person at that time, Camille Panza, was executive director of what is called the Rhode Island Statewide Independent Living Council. And so she urged me to join that. I did. And then from there, I said, geez, what else is available? And finally, some of the things that I ended up by getting on was the Governor's Commission on Disability, where I am a commissioner, and I serve on the Legislative Committee, and I serve on the Accessibility Committee, where I am chair of the Accessibility Committee. And there is a new committee starting up now, and it's I can't think of the name of it. We're yet to have a meeting, I believe, but that'll be starting up. And I'm finishing up a 6-year term on the Rhode Island Rehabilitation Council, and I've been doing this with the Cross Disabilities Coalition. I don't know, for quite some time. I came, I guess it was probably 2009 or something like that, maybe a little later, when I discovered the Cross Disabilities Coalition, started going to meetings and everything. And from there, I was picked to be one of the coordinators, and there's 3 of us. And, at this present time, because the other 2 coordinators are quite busy with other programs that the Cross Disabilities Coalition and the Rhode Island Developmental Disabilities Council, which is our parent, so to speak, they're very involved with that, and speaking programs and teaching programs and stuff like that. And so I am principally the person that is setting up programs and trying to keep them interesting for people on each month.
Oh, that's awesome. But one thing that I love about you that you did not mention is you are a veteran.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I am a veteran. And because I am a veteran and everything, I participate in the adaptive sports program that is principally headquartered in Brockton, Massachusetts, but it involves veterans from all across the New England area, and it's summer and winter. Winter sports program was kind of sparse this year, and it finally got over. The summer program looks like it's going to be going on pretty much as a as it used to and everything, and it'll be coming up in July, and it is actually held right here in the state of Rhode Island. And we have four different sports that we participate in. Um, and I'm not sure whether we're going to do the golfing this year or not. But usually we start off with a day with an afternoon of going to Buttonwood. Buttonwood, I think is the name of it, and we golf. Some people go actually out on the course. Most of us just stay on the driving range, and then we have dinner that evening, and then the next day, half of us will go and let's see, we're four different teams, and two teams will kind of shadow each other, and we sail and go surfing, which is fun, which is different. And Tina, you've tried surfing, haven't you?
Oh, I absolutely have, and I loved it. I cannot wait to do it again. I didn't get to do it last year because of the COVID and stuff, but I cannot wait. But it just shows that you go from a veteran serving our country to becoming disabled and being part of this wonderful community, and you're still active in sports and skiing and everything else that you do. And it just shows everybody that it doesn't stop you. It's all a mindset. Deanne, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved, and a little bit about who you are?
Sure, I have to follow Jack. Thank you so much. Um, my name is Deanne Gagne, and I am also the Cross Disability Coalition coordinator. There's three of us, as Jack said. The other individual is Tanya Victor Ukraine, and so the three of us are coordinators. How I got involved with the Cross Disability was in 2011. Actually, I started to go to I was one of the first members to go to the Cross Disability Coalition. But then in 2011, I was asked to be a co-coordinator, and prior to that, about 20 years now, I've been the one of the coordinators. One of the coordinators for Rhode Island's self-advocacy organization, Advocates in Action. So I have been involved with the system, both getting services and working in the services for over 20 years. So when the Cross Disability Coalition first came about, I was really interested to get involved and to see what they were going to do. And then I was asked to be a coordinator, and I thought what a great opportunity to get more involved. Um, because as a coordinator for a self-advocacy organization, Advocates in Action, we teach people how to advocate for themselves. So we do a lot of training and give a lot of information, whereas the Cross Disability is also an advocacy organization, but it's various disabilities. So it was just really great to get involved with individuals and other organizations that were helping individuals achieve what they wanted to achieve.
That's awesome. Do you mind sharing with us a little bit about your disability and what that is and how long you've been in the disabled community, just to give people a little background of, who you are?
Yep. So I was born with cerebral palsy, and I was not expected to live. I was really not expected to talk, walk, any of that. And so I've been in the disabled community all my life, and and I've had to overcome a lot of obstacles to get to where I am today. Including learning how to walk, learning how to talk, and everything, and everything. So, when I was born, the doctors didn't have much hope for me, and thank God my mother didn't didn't believe. Like she took me home and she treated me like anybody else and said, you know, you have the world owes you nothing. It's what you make of it. So I guess you could say I've been all my life I've been disabled.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome
I
that it's just amazing that, people need to see that, you know what I mean? Even from an infant, that if you're giving the same goals and the same everything else, you may hit those punchlines a little later, but you can still achieve them with a little bit of faith and a little bit of hard work. And we're just like everybody else. And that's the biggest thing I want people to take away. You know what I mean? That we all can do the same things. We just do them a little differently.
I always say don't judge a book by its cover because, we people with disabilities, we're architects, we're artists, there's a wide range, and so if you judge a book by its cover, you're missing out on the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're missing out on what could be. So.
And what was wrong with that doctor telling your mother that a woman wasn't going to talk? I mean, come on. The odds against that was just slim to none.
It's funny. I'll share a little story with you. So I wasn't supposed to talk or walk or whatever, and my mother always let me do for myself, and she never babied me or whatever. And now she says, "Oh, you can't get her to shut up." So
yeah, absolutely.
But beyond that, my role as a coordinator for both organizations, I'm also on a lot of boards. I did Leadership Rhode Island, which is a program that takes individuals from Rhode Island on all walks of industries and bring them together to try to solve the issues that Rhode Island faces. So I also sit on a number of boards and councils and all that. So I'm very involved in the community and the disability community.
Yeah, as it should be. We're just as involved. We have minds, we think, we know, and nothing for us without us. That is my favorite saying in the world. You can't do anything for us without asking us what we need, because what you think is accessible to us is not accessible.
Right, and it's also nothing about us without us. So,
right.
That's the self-advocacy motto right there. So,
yeah, absolutely. Jack, I want you to tell us a little bit about what the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition does. Like, give us like the bare bones, like what do they do?
Well, the coalition is open to anybody with a disability and those people without that may be interested in finding out more things. We have some parents and we have some individuals that don't have disabilities, but are interested in the community and what some of our programs are. Presently, I think we send out invitations to our monthly meeting to about 75 to 100 people that we have collected over the years or so, and we've had people come and go and things like that. Usually, we'll, in a normal state, we'll have anywhere from 20 to 25 members, and I use members very loosely because we don't have a membership requirement. But we'll have about 20 and 25 people come to our monthly meetings, and we found that they were coming when we were having in-person meetings. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people have stage fright or whatever, and talking in front of a camera and being on television and stuff, and so our Zoom meetings have been a little bit smaller, but we've still been having them. We've still been planning our programs and everything around them. Our last program, which was in April here, we did seated yoga, and it was a very interesting sort of thing, and those of us that attended had a really good time. And the girl, her name is Laura Hanson. She actually lives up in New London, New Hampshire, and she does a very good job. And I, as a veteran, she has a Wednesday and a Thursday clinic, and you can you can join in on the thing. If you would to beautiful view yoga, and then you would be able to click on to a link that would eventually get you to the page. And incidentally, the Wednesday and Thursday seated yoga classes are open to anybody, and they are free of charge. And so that is a good thing. Anything free is for me and for you too, I
Oh,
imagine.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with you. And you meet the first Monday of each month, correct?
That is correct. They have
Yeah.
generally the first Monday, unless the first Monday happens to fall on a holiday or something like that, then we'll meet on the next the second Monday. But it's always right around the beginning of the month, so that you can pretty much set your clock by it.
That's
It's
awesome.
1 to 3.
Yeah.
It's 1
Deanne,
to
I want
3
you.
on a Monday.
Oh, 1 to 3. Okay, perfect.
1 to
Deanne, I
3.
want you to tell me
Yeah.
a couple of the classes that I have gone to. You have taught money management, online security. Tell me some of the topics that you talk about that are interested to people, both disabled and not disabled, that you have talked about through, and why people should join and be part of these meetings.
Well, I think first of all, you need to join. I think you need to join because you need to be part of the movement, and you need to learn everything you can to get involved. But some of the stuff that we have taught is money in the bank, which is kind of money management. Like, what are your wants? What do you want? What do you need to live your life? Kind of thing. Um, Also, we've talked about voting. We've talked about bullying. We've also talked about person-centered thinking. The nothing. It goes back to nothing about us without us. So, uh, doing person-centered thinking and planning, it's all about the person, right? So, people should be helping them figure out what they want to do, or and the person should be driving that. So when we talk about that, we talk about Jack does bullying. We've done voting. We've done budgeting. Like, we actually had a panel of people to talk about the best buys, like during Christmas, when you're trying to get something and you're looking for the best deal. We've actually had a panel talk about that and where you're able to get the best deals. Let's see, we've done arts and crafts. We've done also we've talked about sexual abuse with the members and how to deal with that. There's just so many, and I think that one of the things that people need to know is that we not only have these meetings, but we have a whole bunch of presentations that people can be involved with. We have the Speakers Bureau, where we have 8 different presentations, and if well, we don't require anybody to be a member to come to the meetings. We do require that if you're going to be involved with the presentations and the Speakers Bureau, that you at least come to the Cross Disability Coalition meetings 3 times in a row and become a member, and then you can do the speak these mural presentations.
That's amazing. I love, like I said, I love everything that you do because they're very informative. You also bring in organizations to let people know about resources that they have. I know I was a guest speaker at one of your meetings, actually at a couple of your meetings, but it's so involved and you get to learn. Like I said, I have a spinal cord injury. I know Jack has a spinal cord injury. You have cerebral palsy, but I've learned about from the ASL interpreter that's at the meetings. I've learned about the blind community. I've learned about other communities. And what people need to realize is not everybody who's disabled lives in a group home or lives in a congruent setting. We live out and about in the communities on our own. Jack, I know you live alone. I live alone. Deanne, I believe you live in your own apartment.
I do live alone. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, we live out and about in the communities, and this is a meeting where you can get the community together, and we can gather. I mean, like I said, now it's on Zoom, but you know, you can gather together. What were some of your favorite topics, Jack?
Oh boy, one that comes to mind, and I think we did it about a year ago at this time, and we had a guy come in who works at Rock Spot Climbing, which is up in Lincoln. And he was a rock climbing expert. And he also had some other things to do that surprised me. But we were able to talk about it. But he came in and he brought a lot of tools and stuff like that you would use for climbing, rope and gadgets and so on and so forth. And what really amazed me, what really made me feel good was, we had a group of people from the Corliss Institute, which is a deaf community, and they been coming to our meetings and everything. And when he started talking, and there was an interpreter there who was interpreting for him and everything. There were just about, I know a couple of the guys at least, and the girls, the ladies that were there also got real interested in that whole thing and looking things over and everything else, and talking back to the guy that was presenting the class, asking him questions and stuff like that. And we actually we had that program because one of our members, who in a way kind of surprised me anyway, suggested, because she goes up there every now and then and does rock climbing and stuff, and she is pretty much totally in a wheelchair. I don't think she can walk independently, or if she can, it's only a very few steps or something like that. But to hear somebody suggest that was great. And we've had other things. There was an art project that was done that by the time we got done, it was really interesting, the reveal that it was made up of pieces and everything, as I remember it. And when we got all done and everything, there's a picture that each one of us had contributed some pieces to make a picture. We have, we talk about, things that are going on in the state particularly, and one of them is, the accessibility issues, and, where can we go to find, find places that are accessible and everything. And because of that, we often have a representative from Rhode Island DEM come on, and they will tell us, what is new and what is, upcoming for the year and everything. And I'm going to try and get that person to come on in June or something like that. I think that probably would be a good time for it. for start of the season and everything. Um, you know, and
Yeah,
a
you
lot
guys
of
have
cases,
so many. Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's just hard to pick up one thing because,
Yeah.
as Jack said, with the rock climbing, you really saw people like get excited, and really asking questions about how they could do it. And so I
Yeah.
think that's one of the great things is like that aha moment of like, oh wow, I can rock climb even if I have a
Yeah.
disability. And
Yeah.
so-
I went to one of the abilities expos, and during the abilities expo, I got to rock climb their rock climbing. When I came home, I basically, when I lived in Lincoln, lived right around the corner from Rhode Island Rock Climb. And so I would go there myself and be able to do it. Obviously, I could only use the upper part of my body because I can't use the bottom part of my body, but they have such ways of doing it where you feel accomplished and you feel like you can do it. And it's just amazing to be in that gym with normal everyday, as whatever you consider normal everyday people doing what they're doing in your own way and showing them that you can do it. It's incredible. Deanne, tell us what the website is so people can go on, and tell us a little bit about how to get to the calendar and how they can get involved in the Rhode Island Coalition.
So if you go to the website and it's www.ri crossdisabilitycoalition.org, and as you can see, there's the calendar. Which you wanna go to that and just see. You can see we had our Cross Disability Coalition meeting, and then the next one comes up May. And I don't have the calendar right. I'm not good, but the first week in May, and I'm sorry I can't see that. So I don't know the date. Jack, do you know the date?
Yeah, I think it's May 3rd.
May 3rd. I'm sorry, I can't see very well. So again, you want to keep an eye out for any if you see on the left hand side of the column, you'll see all the minutes, all the flyers, all the notes. So you'll be able to see what we talked about in March's meeting, in April's meeting. So it'll get you up to speed. And as Jack said, May 3rd will be our next meeting from 1 to 3. Actually, 1 to 2:30. We shortened it because it's over Zoom now.
Yeah, correct.
That's incredible. And the nice part about it is if you're just joining in for the May meeting, you really didn't miss anything. I mean, you can go back and read all of the notes and everything, but it's not like one flows into the other. It's a different topic each meeting, so you won't feel lost and you won't feel out of place. If you were just to jump in and not read anything else and just jump into the meeting, and you can be as participate or not participate as you feel comfortable. It's not like they're going to call on you. It's not like they're going to make you stand out if you don't want to. So it's something you can feel like you're not going to be uncomfortable, or it's not forced. If you want to talk. If you don't want to talk and you just want to listen, you have that option. I know there's a lot of people in your meeting. Some talk the whole meeting and some, just kind of sit there and take it all in.
And the three of us really do try to give everybody an opportunity to talk. Because everybody has something to say. But again, we're not going to make people talk if they don't want to talk. But a part of our mission is to bring people together to talk about issues that are happening in Rhode Island that's important to us. So we do want to hear your voice, but as Tina said, we're not going to make you talk. And you're absolutely right, Tina. You don't need to necessarily read what we talked about last month to jump into this month, because it's all different. And so we try to bring speakers and we try to bring different topics that we hear from people that they want to hear about, and bring that really, really to everybody so that they can be aware of what's going on.
It's true. And, with having the smaller meetings and having less people, the topics are so important that you're going to want to say something. If you're going to take the time to go out there, let me tell you, even if you're the shyest person out there, because I've sat next to some of them, and as you can tell, I'm not shy at all, but they ended up talking. They ended up being part of the conversation, which is awesome because you can learn so much about our city and our state and being among your own people. I love that it's community of being around like-minded people who want to make a change like we do. What are some of the bonds that you have seen or the friendships over the years, Jack, of the people coming to the meetings?
I know I've made a lot of friends because of it that I wouldn't have had before. I can think of a couple of guys that one is actually a Special Olympic athlete. I think his specialty is golf, and he's been nationally a couple of times and has won medals because of it. And it happened to be that I have a parishioner in the church that I belong to, who she is also a Special Olympian, and she went to the same event, and I believe it was out in Seattle or something like that a few years ago. She came home with a raft of medals. She's a runner,
Wow.
and she's got the runner's legs, long legs, and stuff like that, and she did very, very well. That's one person. Another one is that that I've made some friends with some of the people that are visually impaired. Sometimes I give a person that lives near me a ride to the meetings if it is appropriate or whatever, or from the meetings. Sometimes I'll because I drive. I get around by driving myself. But I have learned how expensive it is to, one, take a ride van, or two, to take the bus. And it's not everybody is able to get free passes and stuff like that. And so, if I could save somebody $4 on a ride trip, for instance, that's $4 that they've got for something else, and to do with for themselves. And I've met some people that are parents of young people, their children. Many of their children are the participants. Their children are grown, but I think of one woman that she works at the Rhode Island Department of Health, and she's a wealth of information every now and then when we need something particular and special and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
besides which, I've had to make friends with my two sidekicks.
That's great.
That.
Yeah. Deanne, tell us some of the relationships and friendships that you have made through the Rhode Island Disability Coalition.
Oh my God. Well, in the time that I've been there, obviously both Jack and Tanya, who are my sidekicks, but beyond that, I would have to say, some of the people that go to the meetings, that when you meet them, I've had people call me and ask me how I was doing, when's the next meeting, and that. So there are some of the members that actually call me and keep in touch and want to know what's happening, and how can what do they need to do, kind of stuff. And I just watching people grow over the years. I've seen some people, as Jack said, I've seen some people kind of come out of their shell and kind of,
Yeah.
and they're one of the people now that you can't get to stop talking, which is awesome. Like, so it's really good to kind of see that and build those friendships and build that trust that they feel like they can come to you.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Like I said, I mean, me and Jack met at the Governor's Commission on Disability, and then he introduced me to the Rhode Island, and that's where I met you, Deanne. So, like, just
yeah,
from Jack and I meeting, it kind of, and you find that I find the Rhode Island Cross Disability as a stepping stone to getting people involved, to being on part of others. Because I have some people from the Rhode Island Cross who help out with RAMP, and who I refer to that are either in the deaf community or in the blind community, or have different abilities that I have, so I can say, okay, I'm working on this project. How does this? I've worked on Jack because I use a motorized chair. Jack uses a manual chair. So when a project comes up, I'll say, Jack, I need the two of us to work in tandem again because I need to see how both chairs work. Or how does this situation work for the blind community, and how does this situation work for this community? So I've made a lot of friends and a lot of connections that I can use in my organization that can better,
right.
and then they feel more empowered, and then they just make more friends. It's so funny because I don't know if you guys hear this, but they'll say, oh, do you know this person? They're in a wheelchair too. Like, we're a gang. Fortunately, we live in Rhode Island, but see, the thing is fortunately we live in Rhode Island, and if they're any kind of an advocate, we probably do know them because the state is so small. But if you lived in a bigger state, we don't know everybody that's in a wheelchair just because we happen to be in a wheelchair. We're not a
Right.
gang.
And that's true too, because that is so true, because just because I'm in a wheelchair, just because you're in a wheelchair, just because we're all in a wheelchair, doesn't mean we understand each other's. We have different experiences. So I think
Right.
one of the things that the Cross Disabilities Coalition does is brings people together from various disabilities community to kind of figure out, learn from each other. I think that's one of the things that we do really, really well also.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like I said, we are three different people in a wheelchair, and each one of us have a different ability. We have different ways of doing things that we do just because of what's convenient for us. So, just because we're all in a wheelchair doesn't mean that we can do the same things. I can do different things than
Right.
Jack. Jack can do, you know what I mean? And it's just the way it works, and it gives people a different sense. But it's just so funny to me that they'll say that, but because we're in a small state, I end up knowing the person that they're talking about because I've crossed them at one meeting or another, or one advocacy thing or another. But if we live in bigger states, we probably don't know each other. But this is a great way for us to really bring it in and bring it together. I just love. Now that we're nearing the end of the hour, I want you guys to speak from your heart and tell everybody the most important thing that you want people to know and take away from the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition. Deanne, I'm going to ask you to go first on this one.
Okay. So the one important thing I want people to take away about the Cross Disability Coalition is that it's really open to anybody who has a disability, and who whether a family member, whatever, anybody can join the Cross Disability Coalition. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't have a disability, but I know somebody that has a disability, or I'm a family member, we want you there. We want you at the table. We want you to be part of it. And it really is a group that is really looking at different areas that concern the disability community as a whole. So the takeaway for me is get involved, show up, and come, see what it's all about. See for yourself.
I think that's great. Jack, give us your take and your most important thing that you want people to take away, and why they should be part of the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition.
Well, part of our mission statement is to gather together to discuss the issues and so forth, and find solutions. but more than that, it's just getting together. There is no structure. I mean, you don't have to attend so many meetings. You don't have to sign any forms to belong. All we do is we ask that you sign a piece of paper that you were there. That's so that we can. It helps us as far as determining other things that that you're really not concerned with. Like funding, for instance. That if we say that we get a lot of people coming into the meetings and everything, the our parent organization can get better funding because we all depend on funding. We're a nonprofit organization. We don't collect dues or whatever. When we meet in person, we usually have something for kind of a snack in between. I think the most important thing is to take away is if you are interested in finding out more, and the fact that there's more people than you in the same boat, and you might as well meet them all or as many as you can. You can find out something from everybody. Different ways to get around in your wheelchair. So different ways in which you can get it repaired. I mean, some people, they only know the most expensive place to get it repaired, whereas maybe nearby there is a place that is inexpensive, or maybe somebody can tell you, all you got to do is this and this, and you're all done. I have one thing that people ask me about all the time. If you see me in my wheelchair, I've got at least one drink holder that I have, on my wheelchair.
Yeah.
When I got my wheelchair, and by the way, I mean, I get it through the VA, so it doesn't cost me the money up front or anything like that. But when I got the wheelchair and started looking at accessories, they wanted $75 for a lousy drink holder. A drink holder that you could go to a bicycle store, for instance, and buy for $7 or $10. And then all you'd have to do is find somebody that has some zip ties, the wire ties or whatever you want to call them. And you can zip tie it to the leg of your chair, and voila, you got yourself a drink holder. You don't have to juggle it in one hand or the other, or try to hold it between your legs, or set it behind yourself in the chair and risk it falling over and soaking your back in the chair and everything else. That's for instance. I get a lot of comments. Wow, that is something. Drink holders, wow, like that. And I have two of them because if I go on a long push, I quite often will need them. I'm diabetic, so I'll find myself getting lightheaded and everything, and I'll have to put some calories in, and my calories are the Gatorade or whatever you want to call it now. It's got a different name, of course. But that's what I find.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
And
I have my cup holder that's removable, that it's got a little knob. Mine's a bike one too, that I can put it on when I need it, when I'm going trucking, and I can take it off during the day, and it's easy on and off. But it's true. You can get one for $7-8 if you think outside the box, and you go to get to the bicycle store and grab one instead of trying to find the expensive one. What I like so much about the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition is you learn how to advocate. There is a right way and a wrong way to advocate, and that's whether you're disabled or non-disabled. If you're going in yelling and screaming, you're going to have to shut them down. They're going to think that the whole disability community is nothing but pains in the butts, and they're not going to want to work with you. If you find out how to talk to somebody, how to bring up the conversation, how to positively not only complain, but have a solution to your complaint. There's no point of complaining to somebody if you're not going to give them ways that they can make it better or that they can change it for your benefit. So you also find out from other advocates of how to advocate. for each other and for all of us, so that way we can make the world a better place. Because I truly don't believe that the world is maliciously inaccessible. I believe that they don't know any better and they don't roll in our shoes. So you can't, again, you can't do for us without knowing how we have to do it. So like I said, we become a little bit of a MacGyver. I'm aging myself now because the younger generation, I learned the other day on a phone call, don't know who MacGyver is.
Right.
So when I
Really?
said that, no one had any idea who I was talking about. I'm like, okay, I'm really aging myself now.
Yeah.
But we find ways of doing it. I mean, when I built my Habitat house, I was swinging a sledgehammer and painting and doing floors from my wheelchair. And they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, watch me. I can do that. You know, it's just different,
Yeah.
but I can do it. Give the way that people sign up for the email for the crust, so they can learn when things are coming up, they can get it emailed to them.
All right.
Jack-
So
Go ahead. Go ahead, Deanne. You,
go ahead.
the best way is to email the you can email council at riddc.org, and this comes up right, it's right there on the screen. It's Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition, and it's .org. These emails will get to us, and we can ask you questions and or answer questions if you've got questions, and we can make sure you get on the mailing list so you can get invited to the next meeting and things of that nature. The Rhode Island Cross Disabilities Coalition, or RI Cross Disabilities Coalition.org, and you know, you can find out a lot more there, and we hope to see you. You know, we love to have members. Yeah, and that should be
That's
RI.
great.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's riddc.org.
Yeah, it should be two
Okay.
D's rather than.
Yeah.
But anyway, anyhow, yeah, it's
And the nice thing is you don't over email. You send one notifying about the monthly meeting, and then you might send one of a follow up from the monthly meeting. You don't over email. So just because you sign up for an email to find out when the classes are, you are not going to be over emailed by any means. So definitely check them out. And the nice thing I like about you guys is you guys are a supporter of the Red Bag Coalition, the Ramp Red Bag, which carries all of your medical equipment on you at all times, where the only one who knows about it is your doctors and the EMTs that take care of you. It's non-tech based, which is the most important, because there's not many EMTs out there that will say, please don't die right now. I need the passcode to your phone to get your medical information or your contacts or that kind of information. This works in any kind of storm, power outage, or anything. It's all of your information right on you at all times. Just go to www.rampisinclusion.com to grab your red bag today. I want to thank you both for being on our show today. It was wonderful talking to both of you. And I encourage everybody to be part of the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition, whether you are disabled or not, whether you are a student or not. Here is your opportunity to learn, talk, speak, and really hear what the disability community is looking for and wants and needs in Rhode Island. I want you all to be a part of this. Deanne and Jack, you guys are doing a fabulous job. I am so excited to be your partner and your friends as part of this. You guys do such amazing work. So everybody needs to be a part of the Rhode Island Cross Disability Coalition. Thank you very much for being part of our show today, and I really love talking to both of you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for having-
much. Thank you for having us.
I would like to welcome everybody back next Wednesday for our 7 o'clock gathering and meeting live on Facebook. Well, we will be talking to Habitat for Humanity West Bay. They are the ones who built my beautiful wheelchair accessible home here in Burrillville, Rhode Island. I'm so excited to share everything that they do and what they have coming up. They are building 2 new duplexes in Burrillville. One will be 2 bedrooms with accessible bathrooms for veterans, and the other one will be each 3 bedrooms for anybody who wants to go through the Habitat for Humanity process. So thank you all for being here. And as always, don't just sit there, make a difference, make a new friend, and make life better for everybody around you. You'll be surprised. You will just open up your heart and make it so much brighter. See you all next week.